Welcome to the Deerwood Realty YouTube channel. I'm John Schink, founder and managing broker of Deerwood Realty in St. Louis, Missouri. Tonight we have an interesting article that I saw about the Biden administration and their desire to help with what is considered a housing shortage, a housing crisis. And just off the bat, I don't think I'm too political. I know that when there's a problem, right? When there's been an identified problem, the government always has to, provide a solution, or they're looked upon as not caring for the community. And so even if you give a token effort, like what is being done in this case, it's at least you're saying you're doing something. So I don't want to rip on the Biden administration. Every administration does, silly things to pacify people that are complaining, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I wanted to go through this because in my experience and in my time in school, we would often sit in class and students would say, I want to develop a shipping container office building, or all kinds of stuff that was just, green and everything, right? We're going to do all these wonderful things. Never really talked about the profit. Or the profit motive was always set by the environmental pace or environmental theme, right? You're going to pay more for this. You're going to increase our mortgage. You're going to increase our margins because it's green, and you want green, right? How could you not want green? So let's go into this article. I think it's kind of fascinating. This happened a while back. I just didn't get to it. I've been, you know where I've been. I've been sick. So here it is. It says Biden has a $35 billion in financing, new guidance for Office-to-Resi conversions. Biden administration plan identifies resources for housing projects. So now, even off the bat, I know this sounds crazy, but is $35 billion enough to move the needle in what is considered to be a housing shortage currently in the United States? Residential housing? No, it won't do anything. It won't do anything. It's going to be one of those things where certain people that are politically connected are going to just plunder this money, whatever's released. It's going to be like many other things that you probably know about, but I don't want to talk about tonight because I'd like to not get shadow banned on this particular episode. I mean, it gets old. Okay, so here we go. The Biden administration is looking to help the real estate industry convert empty office buildings into apartments. Now, we're going to go over the reasons at the end that this is not going to go as smoothly as anybody's been saying, but, so the Biden administration has done this. Look, we have a problem with, a housing shortage. The Biden administration is here to help. Now, again, I don't care if it's Biden, Trump, Bush, Obama, Clinton. I don't care. That's the point is not the administration. The point is the policy, okay? The White House announced a plan to facilitate office-to-resi conversions, especially near mass transit. Bloomberg reported the plan centers on freeing up resources and financing to help usher projects through bureaucratic and monetary roadblocks. And so one of the first questions I would have would be, does that mean environmental issues as well? What about zoning issues in local municipalities? I mean, if somebody doesn't want an office to residential conversion, like in a local area, in that government, is the federal government going to step in and overrule? The agency is also making it easier for transit agencies to repurpose properties for develop and affordable housing, enabling them to transfer sites to affordable housing developers or local governments at no cost. So let's just go through my example right now. Let's say the federal government identifies an office building that they were using close to mass transit, okay? And they say, okay, city of such and such, we're going to give you this building. Congratulations. And the city says, great, thank you so much. We're going to demolish the building, and we're going to build what we want. And then the federal government says, no, you can't do that. And the city government says, well, we're not going to build these. We're not going to change this over to a residential area. We don't want it to be residential. This is zoned industrial or this is zoned commercial. We're not changing it because you want it. What happens? I mean, this is a very realistic scenario that could play out dozens, if not hundreds of times throughout the United States. It says, oh, and then so here we go. What are they doing, right? It says the Department of Housing and Urban Development is updating its guidance on the Community Development Block Grant Fund, which has already allocated $10 billion during Biden's presidency to boost housing supply. I'm sorry, I might sneeze. Now, let me ask you this. Can you point at, it's November the 13th, 2023, can you point to one residential unit in the entire United States that's been produced by the $10 billion that Biden has allocated to boost housing supply? To aid in the initiative, the White House is releasing a guidebook about programs. They're literally writing a book. They're writing a pamphlet. How much do you think that pamphlet's going to cost? Such as opportunities for low-interest loans and tax incentives that can be leveraged to support conversions. Training sessions and technical assistance will also be made available to municipalities and developers. Oh, those pesky developers. I hate those developers. They're always trying to develop things and make money off of it. Shame on them. Office-to-Resi conversions have been a pipe dream of politicians and building owners since the onset of the pandemic, given the glut of office space and high demand for housing. It's interesting. Now, all of a sudden, the building owners, this is not the federal government now, all of a sudden. The federal government owned buildings. Now, this is private building owners, all of a sudden, trying to do something with their buildings that are not having full occupancy since the pandemic, which is now going to get me shadow banned. Conversions address both issues at once, but come with challenges that elected officials tend to overlook. Oh, really? Oh, really? What are these? What are these challenges? You mean it's not going to be just as easy as writing a pamphlet and doing some technical assistance? Oh, no. Oh, no. It says even half-empty offices can have tenants with long-term leases, and zoning and building codes make conversions expensive, if not impossible. In New York City, for example, every bedroom must have a window, a problem in a building with large floor plates. Yeah, like how is that going to work? Now, just so you know, I worked in Detroit for about 8 years when I was younger, and I did work on a job site that was a commercial to residential development in downtown Detroit. It was close to the big transit building that Ford bought now, but that was like an industrial warehouse, and it lent itself to a great design. Because of the wide open spaces, and like obviously the utilities were just already done and fantastic. But in St. Louis, for example, we have the AT&T building that's vacant downtown, and they've been asked, they've been looking for proposals to do something with that for the longest time. And do you realize the tax hit that someone takes, that a municipality takes when it has to shift something from commercial over to residential? It's massive. Municipalities really, and rightly so, do not want to take commercial buildings offline if they can help it. I mean, the tax windfall is just fantastic. So you've also got that problem. It says also in districts where offices are struggling, the most basic, let me read that again. Also, districts where offices are struggling the most lack amenities like grocery stores that residential properties need to attract buyers and renters. This to me has been a problem in the St. Louis market for some time. There was a huge Schnucks that was going to go in downtown. I don't think it's still there anymore. But if you need, people want density, right? I don't understand it exactly, but let's just clear the way. I've been to London, I've been to Zagreb in Croatia. I understand walkable cities. Okay, I've been to Chicago, And what you're seeing in like places like St. Louis, there's no infrastructure built in or very little. Now I'm not criticizing. I hope for the best for St. Louis and other places too. I mean, I generally do, but I mean, you've got to have the amenities. You've got to have your grocery stores, your hardware stores, your restaurants, your bars, everything like a reason to, walk. And then you have to take care of crime. I know people don't like to talk about crime, and I understand why, but there are some places that are downright dangerous in cities. And that's not going to work. Just to change over a building that was once a huge office building, turn it into residential without some sort of commercial draw. You got to have some reason to be in this area. And so, how should I put this? At the end of the day, I applaud any administration's effort to tackle what is perceived to be a problem, even if it's probably not going to do any good. I guess. I mean, that's how I've been brought up. So, I mean, I don't know. Honestly, I've believed for the longest time, if government wants to fix a problem, they can fix it. They can literally click their fingers and it'd be done. It's just they don't do it, and there's reasons why. Hope that doesn't sound too conspiratorial tonight. With that, I'm going to head on out. Sorry for the late release of the video. I'm fighting a cold pretty bad. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening, and I'll catch you on the next one.